Emma's eyes fluttered open to the faint buzzing of her phone under the pillow. At first, she ignored it, thinking it was another early morning work notification. But the buzzing didn't stop. It came again and again, like someone desperately trying to reach her. Half asleep, she stretched her arm, grabbed the phone, and blinked at the bright screen. 20 missed calls, all from family members. Her heart skipped. No one ever called her this early unless something was wrong. She sat up instantly, blanket sliding off her shoulders. Before she could even gather her thoughts, a new message popped up in the family WhatsApp group. Thank you for last week, AMA. We loved the trip. Last week? What trip? She read the message again, this time slowly, every word hitting her like a small electric shock. A trip she didn't go on. A trip she didn't even know about. Her fingers trembled slightly as she scrolled up. More messages began appearing, piling into the group like waves crashing against her chest. We really enjoyed. God bless you, AIM. A big sis. You did well. Next time, invite yourself. Ooh. #sponsored BBXSama's stomach tightened. She hadn't sponsored anything last week. The only thing she had paid for was the vacation she planned for her parents, the one scheduled for 3 days from now. The one she had taken time off work to join them on. The one she had carefully saved for over months. But this was something else. She felt the room spinning slightly as she opened her banking app, her thumb hesitating over the screen. Her breath hitched when she saw it. 3 large withdrawals, all matching the amount she had transferred to her mother weeks ago, but slightly more, almost double. A cold wave washed down her spine. She swallowed hard, pressing her palm against her forehead. She had to be misunderstanding something. Maybe the messages were for someone else. Maybe her mother booked something small for the relatives. Maybe her thoughts shattered when another message entered the group chat. This time from her cousin. Emma, you really did good. Oh, the resort was like heaven. We thank you. Resort. Heaven. Everyone thanking her for a trip she didn't attend. Her heart thumped loudly. It felt like betrayal, but too early, too unreal, too confusing to process fully. She typed a message to her mother with shaky fingers. Mom, what trip are they talking about? She waited. 2 minutes. 5 minutes. 10. Finally, her mother replied casually, like it was nothing, like it didn't matter. Like it wasn't ripping something open inside her. Oh, we already went last week. The whole family went. It was nice. AMA stared at the text until the words blurred. Her chest tightened painfully, her breath coming short. They went. Without her, using her money, and no one told her. Her phone kept buzzing with more messages of thanks. Laughter, photos uploading one by one, smiling faces, matching outfits, ocean views, but AMA felt none of it. She felt only a deep, rising silence inside her, a heavy stillness, like someone had just pulled the ground from under her feet. She whispered to herself, barely audible, "What did they do?" Emma stared at her mother's message until her eyes burned, but blinking didn't change a thing. The words were still there, clear, simple, painfully casual. She tried calling her mother immediately, but the call went unanswered. Again and again. It only made her pulse rise higher, her breath sharper. She dropped her phone on the bed and stood up, pacing her room with slow, shaky steps. Something was wrong. This wasn't just forgetfulness or miscommunication. It felt intentional, organized, hidden from her on purpose. A soft chime from her phone made her stop mid-pace. Another message from her cousin. Another picture. This time, a group photo, nearly 20 people standing in front of a luxury beach resort entrance, smiling brightly like they had won a competition. And in the center was her mother, wearing a sun hat AMA had gifted her last Christmas. Under the picture was the caption, "The best vacation of the year. Thank you once again, AMA." Her knees weakened. She sat on the edge of the bed, holding the phone with both hands to keep it from slipping. She tapped the picture open, zooming in slowly. She saw her father near the back, raising a mock toast with a coconut drink. Her younger siblings were laughing at something off camera. Aunties she barely spoke to were posing like influencers. Everyone was there, except her. AMA swallowed hard. Her throat felt tight, like a hand was pressing against it. She exited the photo and scrolled further down the group chat. Videos now. Laughter, dancing, a boat ride on turquoise water, her mother waving happily at the camera, someone shouting, "Emma, this one you do for us. We won't forget." But AMA hadn't done any of this, at least not knowingly. She opened her banking app again, her fingers cold. More transactions stared back at her. Transport fees, accommodation upgrades, restaurant charges, a huge deposit to a travel company she didn't recognize. Her mind raced back to when she sent money for her parents' trip. She remembered her mother saying, "It's just me and your father going. Simple trip, nothing big." AMA had sent a little extra, thinking it would make things easier for them. She had trusted them completely. The buzzing interrupted her thoughts. A call. Her younger brother. She answered immediately, voice shaking. "What is going on?" she asked, skipping greetings. He sighed nervously. "We didn't think you'd find out this way." Her heart almost stopped. Find out? Find out what? There was a heavy silence on the other end. Then he whispered, "Everyone went. Because Mom said you wouldn't mind. She said you were too stressed to come and she didn't want you to say no if she invited extra people." Emma felt something inside her crack. Quietly, she asked, "So she used the money I sent to take everyone?" "Yes," he murmured. "They didn't want to bother you." Bother her? That word stabbed her deeper than anything else, he said. She closed her eyes, breathing slowly through the ache growing in her chest. She didn't shout. She didn't cry. She only said, "Thank you for telling me," and ended the call. Her whole room suddenly felt too small, too suffocating, too loud with the weight of betrayal. She could still hear the echo of her brother's words repeating in her head. "They didn't want you to say no." AMA wrapped her arms around herself as the truth settled like cold iron in her stomach. This wasn't a mistake. It wasn't an accident. It was planned, carefully, silently, together, and for the first time. She wondered what else her family had hidden from her. AMA sat frozen long after the call ended, her brother's whisper still hanging in the air like smoke that refused to disappear. The sunlight bleeding through her curtains suddenly felt too bright, mocking even. She forced herself to stand, inhaling deeply. But her breath trembled as it left her chest. She needed answers, real ones, not whispered half-truths. She grabbed her phone again and scrolled through her contacts until she reached her mother's name. She hesitated only a second, then hit call. This time, her mother answered. Her voice was cheerful, almost humming. "AMA, my daughter. You saw the pictures." AMA's hand tightened around the phone. "Ma'am," she said softly, too softly for the storm raging inside her. "Why did you all go without me?" There was a pause on the other end, short but sharp. Then her mother laughed lightly. Ama, you're always working, always busy. We didn't want to disturb you. You know you don't like noise." AMA blinked, her jaw tensed. "You didn't disturb me when you asked for the money." Her mother's tone changed instantly, a hint of defense slipping through. "It was for the family. You are blessed, AMA. God has given you. You should not complain about helping." Helping. That word struck her like a slap. "Ma'am," she said calmly, though her throat ached, "you said it was a simple trip for you and Dad. You didn't tell me you were inviting the whole family. You didn't tell me you were taking money twice the amount I sent. And you didn't tell me the trip already happened." Silence. Heavy this time. Her mother's voice came back, lower. "Emma, listen. If we told you, you might have said no. And this family has suffered enough. We wanted everyone to enjoy once. Just once." Then, as if it explained everything, "You're the only one who can do such things." There it was, the sentence AMA had heard her whole life. The one that made her responsible for more than her own shoulders were built to carry. The one that had pushed her to pay school fees, hospital bills, rent, groceries. The one that made her feel guilty for keeping even a fraction of her earnings. She swallowed the rising sting in her eyes. "So you planned it behind my back?" Her mother exhaled impatiently. Ama, don't dramatize everything. You should be happy we had fun. You are always so serious." Ama closed her eyes. Her voice dropped to a whisper. "I was supposed to come with you." Another silence, this one sharper. "You?" her mother said, surprised. "But you never said." "I sent money for our trip," AMA replied firmly. "I took leave from work. I booked time for all of us." Her mother didn't respond immediately. When she did, her voice sounded almost irritated. "You should have told me clearly. How would I know you wanted to come? You're always so busy." AMA felt a cold chill crawl down her spine. The way her mother flipped the blame so easily, so naturally made something dark twist in her stomach. She opened her eyes slowly, staring at her reflection in the window. She didn't look angry. She looked tired, bone-deep tired. "Mom," she said quietly, "you hurt me." Her mother sighed loudly, as if she were the one being burdened. "AMA, please, don't start emotional things. It's just a trip. Everyone had fun. Life is too short for complaining." AMA's fingers trembled around the phone. Complaining? Is that what they thought she was doing? Not one person had thought about how she would feel. Not one person had considered including her. She whispered, "Okay," because she had nothing else left to say. But inside her, Something had shifted, something silent but powerful. She ended the call without waiting for a goodbye and stared at the screen as a hollow ache opened in her chest. This wasn't just betrayal, this was a lesson. Ama placed her phone on the dresser with slow, controlled movements, like someone afraid they might break something if they moved too fast. She stared at her reflection in the mirror, eyes slightly glassy, jaw clenched, shoulders tensed. She didn't recognize the expression on her face. It wasn't anger. It wasn't sadness, it was something deeper, something heavier, a disappointment that sat inside her like a stone. She stepped away from the mirror and walked toward her small balcony, pushing the sliding door open. The morning air hit her, cool and sharp, but it didn't calm her. Instead, it made the noise inside her head louder. Her phone buzzed again. She ignored it, but it buzzed a second time, then a third. With a frustrated sigh, she reached for it, expecting another relative posting pictures. Instead, it was a private message from her younger sister, Lila. "So, you're upset about the vacation?" Ama blinked, reading the message twice. Upset. Was that all they thought this was? Before she could reply, another message arrived. "Ama, you really shouldn't make this a big deal. Mom said you'd overreact. It's just a trip." Ama felt her fingers go cold. The words blurred slightly, her heartbeat thudding in her ears. Overreact. The same word her mother used. She typed back slowly. "Lila, why didn't anyone tell me?" The reply came instantly. Too fast, like her sister had been waiting. "Because you always make things dramatic. And honestly, we thought you'd say no to paying for everyone." Ama stared at the message. The truth sitting there in plain text like a knife laid gently on the table, quiet, sharp, waiting. She typed, "But it was my money." Lila sent a laughing emoji. An actual laughing emoji. "Yes, but you have money, Ama, and Mum said you wanted the family to enjoy. Why are you acting like it's new?" Ama felt something shift inside her again. This time like a door finally slamming shut. She didn't respond. She pressed the power button on her phone and turned it off completely. The silence that followed wasn't peaceful. It was suffocating. She stood on the balcony railing and looked out at the city below. Nairobi was waking up, cars honking, birds chirping, distant chatter rising as people started their day. But Ama felt like she was standing alone in a cold, hollow room. She went back inside and opened the drawer where she kept documents, bank statements, receipts, emails. She pulled out the printout of the travel confirmation she had sent to her parents weeks ago. Her eyes skimmed every detail, the dates, the names, the hotel booking. Everything was clear. Everything had been planned. Everything had been ignored. Her phone, still off, lay face down on the bed. She walked toward it slowly, like approaching a sleeping animal that might bite if disturbed. She picked it up but didn't turn it on. She whispered to herself, "If they can do this, what else have they done?" Her own voice startled her, soft, but filled with an unfamiliar strength. She placed the phone on the bedside table and sat down. Slowly, carefully, she began to understand that this wasn't just a trip gone wrong. It wasn't a misunderstanding or poor communication. It was a pattern. A long one. A painful one. One she had ignored for years in the name of love, duty, culture, and being the good daughter. Now, for the first time, she was seeing it clearly. And clarity, she realized, was heavier than ignorance. When Ama finally turned her phone back on, hours later, it vibrated non-stop, missed calls, unread messages, voice notes piling up like debris after a storm. She didn't open any of them. Not yet, not when her thoughts were still raw and unsteady. Instead, she sat at her desk and opened her laptop, searching for something, anything that would make the situation feel less unreal. She clicked through her sent emails, her bank transactions, her calendar entries. Everything she did in preparation for the trip stared back at her in neat, organized lines. She had planned everything. She had communicated everything. She had trusted completely. And they had still gone behind her back. A light knock echoed through her apartment door. She jumped. No one ever came by unexpectedly. She hesitated before walking to the door and peeking through the peephole. Her friend Mariam stood outside holding 2 cups of coffee. Her eyebrows drawn together with worry. Ama opened the door slowly. "You look like you haven't slept," Mariam said gently, stepping inside. Ama forced a smile. "I haven't." Mariam placed the coffees on the table. "I saw the pictures. Your cousins posted everything online. I thought you traveled too, then I saw your message last night." She paused, studying Ama's face. "Talk to me." Ama exhaled shakily and sank onto the couch. "They went without me, Mariam. All of them. My parents, siblings, cousins, everyone. Using my money. Mariam's eyes widened. All of them, without even telling you. Ama nodded slowly. They didn't want me to say no to paying for everyone. Mariam pressed her lips together tightly. Ama, that's not forgetting to invite you. That's planning to exclude you. The truth in those words stung. Ama rubbed her palms together. My brother said they had a family meeting. A meeting, Mariam, and they decided I wouldn't come. Mariam's jaw dropped in disbelief. A meeting about your money. Ama nodded, her voice cracking slightly. They see me as the sponsor, not the sister or daughter. Mariam leaned back, shaking her head. This isn't just unfair, it's cruel. Ama swallowed hard. Hearing someone else say it out loud somehow made it more real. She looked down at her hands. My mother said I overreact. My sister said it's just a trip. They're all acting like I'm the problem. Mariam's voice softened. Ama, your family has gotten used to your sacrifices. They think your giving is automatic. They think you don't get hurt. That's the danger of being the strong one. Ama felt a tear slip down her cheek before she could stop it. She wiped it quickly. I don't mind helping. I never have. But this felt like they erased me. Mariam reached for her hand. So what will you do now? Ama stared ahead, her eyes unfocused. I need to know how far this goes, what else they've hidden. I need to understand the whole truth before I decide anything. Mariam nodded in understanding. You're going to call them again? No, Ama said slowly, shaking her head. Not yet. Not them. She reached for her phone and opened it. I'm going to message someone who will tell me the truth. Someone who doesn't filter things for the family. Mariam raised an eyebrow. Who? Ama's fingers hovered over a name in her contacts. Cousin Tariq, she whispered. He always knows everything. Her thumb pressed call. The phone rang once. Twice. Ama held her breath. He answered on the third ring. Tariq, it's me, Ama said, her voice low but steady. There was a short pause on the line before he answered, sounding cautious. Ama. Hey, I was wondering when you'd call. Her heart tightened at the tone in his voice, like he already knew why she was calling. You went on the trip, didn't you? She asked quietly. Another pause. Yes, he admitted. No excuses. No pretending. Just honesty, something she desperately needed. Ama inhaled slowly. Tariq, tell me the truth. All of it. What happened? Why did no one tell me the trip was already done? Tariq exhaled heavily, the sound carrying guilt across the phone. The family didn't think you would find out like this. That's not an answer, she whispered. He hesitated. Okay, I'll tell you everything, but promise you won't get angry at me. I didn't plan anything, I only joined like everyone else. I'm not calling to blame you, Ama said, though her chest tightened. I just need the truth. Tariq's voice softened. The truth is, your mum planned the whole thing 2 months ago. Ama froze. 2 months. She knew that early. Yes, Tariq said quietly. She said the resort had a promotion but only if a large group booked together. She wanted the whole family, her sisters, the kids, even your uncle's family. Ama's breath caught. A group booking. Using my money. Yes. Tariq confirmed. Your mom said you agreed. She said you told her to handle everything. Ama pressed her fingers to her temples. I never said that. I never agreed to any of that. Tariq sighed again, sounding ashamed. I thought so. But everyone believed her. She said you were too busy to come and that you wanted to bless the family. Ama closed her eyes. So she lied. To all of you. It seems like it, he admitted. And that's not all. Her stomach dropped. What else? There was a family meeting, Tariq said carefully. Your mum told everyone not to post pictures until the trip was over. She didn't want you to know. Ama felt the room tilt slightly. She hid it from me intentionally. Yes, he said softly. Then on the last day, your aunt asked whether you'd be upset. Your mother said no. She said you don't care for such things anymore. A cold, hollow ache spread across Ama's chest. She said, I don't care. Yes, Tariq replied. And to be honest, some people agreed. They said you're the serious one. The one who is always working. The one who never has time for enjoyment. Ama let out a shaky breath. But I planned a trip with them. For us. For my parents. I know, Tariq said. But they didn't see it that way. They thought you'd pay for everyone if they framed it right. Ama's fingers trembled. So they used me. He hesitated. You've been helping the family for so long that they stopped seeing it as help. It became expected. Like you owe it. Ama swallowed a painful lump in her throat. And no one thought about how I would feel. Tariq's voice broke slightly. I thought you knew. If I had known the truth, I wouldn't have gone. Emma's eyes welled up, but she blinked the tears back. It's not your fault, Tariq. He took a deep breath. Ama, there's something else. Your mother said one thing that bothered me. Emma's heart stopped. What did she say? She said, if Ama comes, she will question everything. Better she stays out. Emma felt the words hit her like a punch. Sharp, deep, unforgettable. She whispered, barely breathing, so they didn't want me there. Not because I was busy, but because I would see the truth. Yes, Tariq whispered. That's the real reason. Ama didn't speak for a long time. The silence on the phone grew heavy, almost suffocating. Finally, Tariq whispered, Emma, I'm sorry. Ama blinked slowly, her voice soft but firm. Thank you for telling me. She ended the call. She sat still for several seconds, then leaned back slowly, staring at the ceiling as the truth settled in her like cold rain. This wasn't just betrayal. It was intentional. Ama sat completely still after ending the call with Tariq, her phone resting loosely in her hand as if her fingers had forgotten how to hold things. The air around her felt heavier, thicker, like it was pressing down on her shoulders, forcing her to face a reality she had avoided for years. Her mother hadn't just taken advantage of her generosity. She had lied, planned, manipulated, and worst of all, she had made sure Ama wouldn't be there to witness any of it. Ama stood up slowly, needing to move, needing air. She walked to the kitchen, filled a glass with water, and took a long sip. The glass trembled in her hand. She set it down carefully and pressed both palms against the counter. How long has this been happening? She whispered to herself. The question wasn't about the trip anymore. It was about everything, every expense she covered, every emergency she financed, every holiday she paid for, every school fee she settled. Had they ever truly appreciated her? Or had she been nothing more than the golden wallet of the family? She walked back to the living room, each step feeling heavier than the last. She sat again and unlocked her phone. More messages had poured in. Her sister Emma stopped making things awkward. Mom is upset now. Her aunt. We didn't tell you because we know you. You'd start asking questions. Her cousin. Everyone had fun. Relax, small. Ama stared at the messages, a bitter laugh escaping her lips. They weren't apologizing. They weren't acknowledging what they did. They were annoyed with her for reacting. She clicked on one of the videos posted earlier. It was her mother dancing on the beach, carefree and joyful, surrounded by cheering relatives. Her father, usually serious, was laughing loudly, even throwing his head back theatrically, as though life had never been kinder. And to think, she had planned to surprise them with a candlelight dinner on the upcoming trip. She had selected their favorite meals. She had chosen the perfect room with an ocean view. She had imagined the joy on their faces, but they had already lived that joy. Without her, on her dime. In secret. Ama paused the video abruptly, unable to watch more. She stood, pacing again in slow circles like her thoughts needed physical movement to keep from drowning her. Mariam watched her from the couch silently. Finally, she spoke. Ama, you can't let them do this anymore. Ama stopped walking. I don't want to fight them. I'm not telling you to fight, Mariam said gently, but you need to take back your boundaries. They're walking all over you because they know you won't push back. Ama looked down, her voice small. But they're my family. Mariam stood and walked over to her. Family should protect you, not use you. Family should love you, not lie to you. Family should value you, not hide things from you. Ama swallowed, her throat tight. If I confront them, everything will change. Maybe it needs to, Mariam said softly. For your own peace. Ama felt her chest tighten. She walked to the window again, watching the passing cars, the people moving with purpose, as if everyone else knew where they were going, except her. One thing became painfully clear. This wasn't going to end with a few emotional texts. Her family needed to hear her truth, face to face, direct, unavoidable. She turned back to Mariam slowly, her jaw tightening with a quiet strength that hadn't been there before. I'm calling a family meeting. Mariam nodded. Good, but are you ready for what you're going to hear? Ama closed her eyes, inhaled deeply, and exhaled. No, she whispered, but I'm ready to stop being silent. Ama didn't sleep that night. She lay awake, staring at the ceiling in the dim light of her room, replaying every conversation, every message, every painful realization. By the time the sun began to rise, her mind was made up. There was no turning back now. She sat at her desk and crafted a single message in the family group chat, short, controlled, and impossible to ignore. I want a family meeting today. Everyone, 7 p.m. No excuses. She hit send before she could second-guess herself. Almost immediately, The typing indicator appeared. Her mother, meeting about what? You're taking things too far. Her aunt, is it necessary? We are all busy. Her younger sister Ama. This drama isn't needed. Ama didn't engage with any of them. She simply repeated, 7 p.m. Then she muted the group by afternoon. She could feel the tension brewing through the silence. Her phone stayed unusually quiet. No more cheerful pictures. No laughing messages. No unnecessary chatter. It was as if her family had collectively paused, waiting to see what would happen next. When 7 p.m. finally approached, Ama dressed simply black jeans, a white blouse, nothing dramatic, nothing emotional. She needed clarity, not theatrics. She tied her hair back, wiped her face, and grabbed her laptop. Mariam insisted on staying nearby for emotional support, so they set up in the living room. As Ama opened the video call, one by one, the screens lit up. Her mother appeared first, expression tight. Then her father, stern, unreadable. Her sister joined with folded arms. Her brother looked uncomfortable, eyes avoiding the camera. Aunts, uncles, cousins, all present, all watching. Ama inhaled deeply. Thank you for joining. Her mother spoke immediately, defensive. Ama, before you start, this whole thing has gotten out of hand. No, Ama interrupted, her voice calm but firm. I'm going to speak first, and I need everyone to listen. A hush fell across the call. Ama continued, I want to talk about the vacation, the one you all went on without telling me, using the money I sent. Her aunt shifted uncomfortably. Her sister rolled her eyes lightly. Her father let out a small sigh. Ama didn't waver. It hurts, she said plainly. It hurts that I planned something for my parents, and instead, the entire family used it without me. It hurts that you hid it, lied about it, and acted like I shouldn't care. She paused, studying their faces. Her mother frowned. Ama, you're exaggerating. We didn't lie. Ama opened a folder on her laptop and held up her bank statement to the camera. 3 additional withdrawals I never approved. A group booking I never agreed to. A trip date changed without my knowledge. Her sister scoffed quietly. Ama, it's just money, it's not the money, Ama said sharply, cutting her off. It's the betrayal. The word hung in the air, heavy and unspoken for too long. Her father finally spoke, voice gruff but softer than usual. Ama, we thought you were too busy to come. Ama met his eyes through the screen. But you didn't ask me. You decided for me. You excluded me from something I paid for and then pretended it was nothing. Her mother shifted. We did it for the family. Exactly, Ama replied. For the family. But I am your family too. The room went silent. Her voice softened, but her resolve stayed solid. I have given, supported, paid, and sacrificed for years. But you have stopped seeing me as a daughter. You see me as a provider, a sponsor, a walking solution. Several relatives lowered their eyes. Ama continued. From today, things will change. I'm not cutting you off. I'm not abandoning anyone, but I'm setting boundaries. Tension rippled across the call. No more using my name for bookings. No more spending my money without permission. No more decisions made behind my back. And no more expecting me to fix everything. Her mother looked stunned, almost offended. Ama, so you're turning your back on tradition? Ama shook her head slowly. No, I'm turning my back on being used. A long silence followed, uncomfortable, stretching, heavy. Finally, her brother whispered, Ama, I'm sorry. Her father looked down. Her aunts seemed ashamed. Even her mother's expression softened, just a little, cracks forming in the wall she'd built. Ama exhaled shakily, feeling a strange relief wash through her. For once, she said softly, I need all of you to understand how I feel. She ended the meeting without waiting for replies, closing her laptop gently. For the first time in a long time, Ama felt something she hadn't felt before. Freedom.